Servers on. We're here. We're live. It's Sunday, 10:30.
Sunday. We are
literally just going to do that.
We're live from the cabin.
I feel like we're low on the screen.
You need to
we
angle.
always there?
You need to angle yours down a little bit.
Is that always where we are?
Mine is already angled down slightly.
You know what? It's because these are further away too.
They are. They are. I got my fuzzy socks on.
Let me move this. Why this? It feels like these are weird angles today. Oh well.
Because we are not at home.
We're not at our normal spot. We are in Tennessee.
Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountains. As you can see, the wood behind us. We are surrounded.
Everything is wood.
We're not even 2 minutes in, babe. Come on.
We're not even 60 seconds in.
We're in a cabin in the mountains. We've been here for a few days, hanging out with friends, taking it easy, chilling. It's been nice. It's been very nice.
Happy September. Ushering in September.
We played spades for like 5 hours yesterday.
There's Neil, who's hanging out with us here.
Neil's here.
He's watching from upstairs.
Yeah, so it's been nice. It's kind of a weird, like, we've modified our routine a little bit to try to relax more. We've still gotten work done. We've still been working on projects and things. I still got studying to do.
I just wrapped up my challenge.
Working on a paper.
Our winners. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow we are starting a brand new training program.
This couch is annoying. Okay.
Tomorrow we're starting a brand new training program inside the Keto Bikini Academy. And we just reopened Academy membership for those who want to join, who've been waiting for the end of the summer challenge to join. It will be open for 2 weeks until we get ready to start our fall Build Without Bulking body recomp program that will run from October through the end of the year. So lots going on in my world. I've been loading the new training program and switching over memberships and all that good stuff. So if anybody wants to check it out, nataliejgrasso.com/Keto Bikini Academy, or you can find the link on my Instagram at the Keto Bikini Pro or in the Facebook group.
Yes.
Keto Bikini Secrets.
Hey Karen, hey Neil, hey Jess.
Stephanie said, I'm so excited to see and try out the new training program. Stephanie is in my advanced program. Okay. So girl, get yourself ready. This advanced program this time is like
What's up, Zane?
A whole
What's
different
up, Dory?
level.
Dory, I got your message. I'll look and see what I have, but thanks for reminding me about that.
I have to say, today's September 1st.
It is September. Oh, she's being basic, guys.
And thanks to Julie, who brought a pumpkin spice coffee. I waited until today.
It's just the coffee, so it's not adding stuff into it.
Right, it's like the cinnamon, nutmeg. It's the spices that make it pumpkin spice.
In the coffee.
It is in the coffee itself. Yeah, you can smell it. It's strong.
Yeah, you can smell it.
With my toasted marshmallow nut pods. So pumpkin spice and toasted marshmallow are a fall thing. So I am ringing in fall, September 1st.
Yep, we are officially here. And that's why we're in the mountains. Yes. Although we came a little early. We didn't get to see any leaves change, that kind of stuff. But that's okay.
That's okay.
All right. So
what are we talking about this
week? Talking about, well, why are we talking about what we're talking about? We're talking about mantras.
This came up recently in the Academy. And it was something I was sharing with you.
With me, and it was stuff you were talking about with the, not the, what was it? What was the phrase that you said?
Progress over perfection.
No, it was something else. It's not that bad.
Oh,
that's where it kind of started.
We brought it up on a previous coffee chat, I think, about something I'd shared on a feedback video in the Academy about. No, it's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious. And there was a lot of maybe misunderstanding of what I meant by that. In terms of applying it to the practical things, like as if I was saying, when you cheat on your diet, it's not that serious.
Right.
or if you're not doing your training, it's not that serious. And that's not what I meant by it. What I meant by it is that nothing is ever so serious that it needs to disturb your peace.
Woo! That's
What I meant was we're not wallowing in what we didn't do or what we did wrong.
right.
We're not living there. We're not letting that define what we do moving forward.
And that's what I was saying. Like it's the idea that if you do something that wasn't on plan, if you make a decision to do something that you know isn't going to move you forward, you're not married to the impact of that so much that it defines who you are. You don't become a bad person because you made a decision.
And your emotions don't get so tied up in it that you are now paralyzed and crippled to do something about it.
Right.
You're not living in the emotions of what I did or what I didn't do.
Right. What it doesn't mean is that the thing that you did doesn't matter at all and it's not going to have any impact on your journey.
Right.
Because it likely will.
Yes. It doesn't mean that if you bend your face off, it's not that serious as it relates to your progress and your goals and the lifestyle you're trying to live and the person you're trying to be. It does impact your identity. If you are trying to adopt a new identity and you keep going back to the old one, I'm not saying that's not that serious. I'm saying nothing is ever so important that it should disturb your peace. So that is what led us to, we see certain phrases being used to justify behaviors or lack of behaviors or lack of action or lack of change. And there's two main ones that we hear all the time being used incorrectly.
Yeah. And they're kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
They're basically
in a way.
because they're being used as a door that you're opening a door that's allowing you to make decisions that you know are not going to move you forward.
Are not serving you, are not benefiting.
And you're allowing these concepts to be the scapegoat for your decision. And it is, give yourself grace.
And progress over perfection.
Right. So when we see, what's an example? I went on vacation, or I went away for the weekend, or I went to a party, a barbecue or a fair or whatever, and everyone was doing this, so I decided I would partake a little bit, whether it's alcohol or a funnel cake or who knows what a cheesecake at a birthday party, whatever it may be. And instead of maybe knowing what I was doing and only having a bite just to satisfy that, I had a whole piece of cake. And then I said, well, screw it, I'm going to have some ice cream too. And then I decided I'm going to drink some wine later. And it's a spiral that you then come back and say, well, I just give myself a little bit of grace. I enjoyed that. It is what it is. And then I'm going to keep going. But then you do it again the next weekend, and then you do it again the next weekend, and then you do it again the next weekend.
And every time I'm giving myself grace. I'm giving myself grace. Oh, progress over perfection. And then
it's about being consistent. I'm being more consistent than I am not.
Oh, the other thing we see all the time is, well, if I compare it to the way I was when I had 80 pounds to lose,
right,
before I lost the 100 pounds, I'm doing better.
That's the progress.
I'm doing better than that.
Right.
I'm doing better than.
Which isn't a lie.
Right. But you're saying that to make yourself feel better. Right. When you are trying to achieve a new goal, you still have another 30 pounds to lose. Yeah. Or whatever it might be, whatever your current goal is, you just keep comparing to where you started from.
Right.
Rather than where was I yesterday? Where was I last week?
What is the point of comparing to an old goal if that old goal isn't where you are anymore?
Not even close, especially when it's you're looking back to the very beginning, because I could excuse a lot of things if I'm comparing it to who I was 13 years ago.
Would you? Sorry, go and finish that.
It would be, well, I'm doing better than when I was making pasta every week. Well, that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Why am I comparing myself to that? Because that hasn't been the standard for a long time.
Yeah. What would you think about if I said, that if you feel the need to compare anything, that should be a trigger or an alert thing that you are automatically trying to justify something.
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, because you know what? Then you can analyze it. And maybe you are, and maybe you aren't justifying. But it gives you something to start with.
Right. Why am I
when
comparing?
I start saying, well, I'm better than I was before,
Right.
Why am I saying that?
Right. Or even more micro view looking at it is, well, I can do this today because I've been good this week. I'm comparing to just the last 5 or 6 days.
Or you're comparing to the people in your lives that are not on the same journey as you.
Yeah.
Well, they were all doing X, Y, Z, and I only did X. You know, they ate all the things on the dessert table, and I just had one. So I'm doing better than them. But what is their goal?
Yeah. What's that got to
Are
do
they
with you?
even are they even striving for the same thing you are? Most of the time they're not. So why would you compare yourself to someone that's not on the same journey?
I'm trying to stay clean. Everyone else is playing in the mud, so I'm just going to go splash in the puddle instead.
Yeah, it's like an alcoholic saying, well, all my alcoholic friends did that and I only had 3 drinks.
Right.
Well, if you're trying not to be an alcoholic anymore,
Then why are you drinking at all?
1 drink is too much for you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah. That's a really good way of identifying when you're doing this.
Yeah.
Right? When you use the terms progress over perfection, this is one of the things we were chatting about before we decided to do this talk. Are you making progress? Is it progress over perfection?
That's where I'm going to go next, right?
Or is it I'm justifying not making progress? Because what we mean when we say
We're hitting all the
progress,
buttons today. I'm just going to sit here and be quiet. And just let her
what
go.
we mean when we say progress over perfection is you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater because you did one thing that wasn't perfect.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I ate a blueberry. That's not keto. Now I might as well eat blueberry muffins and blueberry cake and all the things, right? That is coming short of perfection and then deciding it's not worth even trying.
That's being defeatist.
Versus, eating blueberries can fit within your progress and you can still make progress with that.
Right. Or even just accepting I'm going to do whatever it is. I know that it's not going to specifically help me move forward, but I am allowing this to happen. I have a plan for how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to restrict or manage what I'm doing in the moment. I'm not going to get carried away with it.
Yep.
And then I know what I'm doing afterwards. I'm not going to let it freak me out. I'm going to be back on what I'm doing immediately after. Like
And
having a plan and intent around and knowing how it's going to affect me and not complaining about
not making progress
in that instance because I know I made this decision.
Right. This is where the analysis comes in. Did I make progress this week? Is it progress over perfection? Meaning it wasn't a perfect week in terms of the way I would describe perfection. If perfection is I nail every single macro 100%. I do every single training and I'm able to push harder and get progressive overload every day in my training. And I do everything according to the schedule that I set that I was going to do my training in the morning. And I was, all of those things. And I stuck to my meal plan. Maybe that's what perfection looks like. But maybe you didn't stick to your meal plan, but you did still hit your macros within 5 grams of any direction. And maybe you didn't do your workouts at the time you said you were going to do them, but maybe you got them all done. And maybe you weren't able to hit progressive overload on all of them, but you still got the workouts done. Right. Or maybe it's a week where you couldn't get all your workouts in and maybe you went for a walk instead. And at the end of the week, you're saying, I'm not judging myself based on the perfection and the perfect plan that I thought I was going to follow. But the question is, did I do things that still help me progress?
Right.
Did I actually progress this week or not? Because if you didn't progress, you can't use the term progress over perfection.
Right.
You're not progressing. And do not use that to explain away or justify the things you chose to do that stopped you from making progress.
Yeah. And we'll talk about this. I think we have another thing on our list of topics, which is the do it like
Do it like it's your job.
like it's your job, like
Yeah,
your life
like your
depends
life
on
depends on it.
And that's part of this thing, right? Is understanding that if this is really as important as you say it is to you, then the things that you're doing have to be intentional. And you can't explain away making choices that aren't helping you move forward.
Yep. You have to face it.
You have to face them and you have to own them. And you
Take
have
responsibility and accountability for what you did or didn't do and try to be as objective as you can about it.
Right.
You know, you don't, and that's what we mean by it's not that serious. You're not taking it personally. You're saying, if I didn't make progress, here's why.
Yeah. And
I can do something.
And that's
about
one of
that.
the biggest things that we see clients and people making is we see it in check-ins. We hear people talking, social media, groups, whatever. Everyone's talking about, I'm not making progress. I'm having this struggle. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. And the intention and the energy they're putting into being consistent and doing the things that they need to do just isn't there.
Isn't there.
It's not there. And at the same time, they're talking about grace and progress over perfection, and I'm doing better than I was. Okay.
And then they're mad
when
they don't see the changes happening that they want to happen.
Here's the thing, guys. And this is a hard truth. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around sometimes. Just because you're doing more than you were doesn't mean you're doing enough
to make the changes you're trying to.
There has to be enough of an impact of what you're doing to create a change. It's called a stimulus. Just like when you lift weights. I can lift weights all day long, but if I'm not lifting enough to make my muscles change, then my muscles will never change.
Right. And here's the thing, and this is a great analogy because it works with that too, with your training, with your diet, with your body composition. When you had 100 pounds to lose, honestly, it doesn't take much.
Doesn't take much.
When you only have the last 15 pounds to lose,
more focus, more intention, more specific effort.
It takes more.
And more time.
It's not going to be as easy. It's not going to happen as quickly or as drastically with small changes.
Right.
You know, anybody who's ever experienced stop drinking alcohol and now all of a sudden you're losing weight, or stop drinking sodas, or stop eating French fries.
That too. Alcohol and French fries.
One big thing that you change, one thing without anything else, and then boom, things start moving.
Yep.
And now it's not fair. Why do I have to throw everything at this? And other people can just lose so easily because they have a lot more to go, like you once did. Mm-hmm. And now, when you're leaner, when you're already in a healthy range, it's going to be a lot harder to build muscle, lose body fat, start to see it on your body, create the definition you want. It takes more. It takes a lot more for me to build muscle now than it did when I started 9 years ago.
God, it's so frustrating.
It used to be you could build muscle a lot faster.
And age.
Age, yep.
Plays a role. Menopause
training age and biological age.
Or chronological age.
Yeah.
All of it makes a difference.
Yep.
Where you're coming from. There's so many factors that go into it that just in general, I mean, if we look at anything in life, as you get more experience, as you get more time in it, in order to perform, you have to be better at your job. You have to be more knowledgeable. You have to have more experience, right? You can't, as an apprentice, right out of college, you can get a job anywhere.
The expectations
are lower. It doesn't take much for you to be able to do your job. As you go in your career, you have to know your job. You have to know what you're doing. You have to be able to problem solve and work specifically in the areas you're doing.
And if you did not progress, you would not be offered promotions.
Right.
You would not get that next level job. You would stay where you are.
And a lot of you are still functioning as interns, but you're trying to be CEOs. Okay?
Oh. And what do I do in the academy?
It's all about being the CEO of your body.
I teach you how to be the CEO of your body. You can't act. I'm using that in my marketing. You can't act like an intern and expect CEO salary.
Yeah.
You're not going to get CEO results. Wow. Woo.
You're welcome.
Entry level
Are we done? Are we done? Is that the end of the? Is that the
Don't
end
act
of
entry level if you want to be
episode?
CEO. Damn. Whew.
Yeah.
I knew we were gonna bring the big guns out today.
So I mean, this is like, this is one of those. What's up, Jonathan? This is one of those topics. Like, I don't feel like there's a lot to talk about because it's pretty straightforward. If you want to see progress, you have to put the work in.
You have to eliminate
if you're not
your
putting
excuses.
the work in and you're comparing yourself in order to justify,
to feel
there's
better
a difference
about
between
where you are.
Let's clarify something too. Comparison itself isn't bad.
Right.
Why are you comparing? You had the idea of tracking and gathering data and evaluating is comparison.
Compare.
That is comparison. Comparison of your results now to the results before. What did I do and what happened versus what did I do and what happened? If you're comparing the effort and using that to justify your current effort, even if there's no change, that is not the comparison we're talking about. That is not evaluation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I love that.
Keep your eye out for that kind of stuff, guys. Progress over perfection, giving yourself grace is not an open door to staying where you are.
Yep. And here's the thing, you have to feel the discomfort, the pain of remaining the same to be able to get that motivation you're looking for to take action. So if you're making yourself feel better by using these terms, giving myself grace, progress over perfection, better than I was once upon a time, you're not going to move. You're not going to find motivation in that
what you just
because
said.
you're making it more comfortable for you to stay where you are. You have to make it more uncomfortable. You have to feel the discomfort of, I didn't show up this week the way I know I need to.
And that's why you're doing it. That's why you're doing it. That's why you're doing it. That's why you're using these things as justification. Just like you've used food
as comfort,
as in a way to avoid your emotions, you're using these types of thoughts and justifications to avoid facing the fact that you're not doing what it takes.
Oh, that's it.
Right? You're trying to avoid facing yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, and obviously we're not saying everyone listening is doing this, but if this applies to you, please take it.
And it's for you.
It's for you.
If it's triggering you right now, then that's for a reason, right? There's something to look at is what we're saying.
Yeah.
Check. We're not saying every time you use these phrases, you're using them incorrectly.
Right.
You have to assess, where's this coming from? Why am I playing the comparison game with this person I'm not anymore?
Right, and it's not even, everyone's doing this now. This is good. This is good information. We have times
there will be times
where we
you
say it and we have to go, hey, wait a second, what am I doing? Hold on. Right? That's not where I want to be right now. So this is one of those things that just keep in the back of your mind, because it may be something you're currently doing. It may be something you're not struggling with now, but a year from now,
you could be.
Could be. So having these things, that's why we talk about this stuff, and it's on YouTube, so you can go back to it later. And
you know what this relates to that we have to tell people about?
Pretty. Sometimes I just look at her and it's like, whoa, hold on a second.
It makes me blush.
Hey, what's up, girlie? How you doing?
Let's wrap it up so we can.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I just got distracted.
Cabin
time.
I completely forgot what I was about to say. Damn it. See what he does?
Oh,
he throws me off and then I can't think straight. Does this pretty frequently.
Oh, that's hilarious. I'm so sorry, baby.
But then I can't be mad at him because he just made me smile and got me all giggly. I remember. Something we have to tell them about that you posted on your YouTube the other day. That every human being needs to see this video.
All right, so if you're watching me on my YouTube channel, it's already there. Under my health and fitness playlist, I have a video called "Your Habits Are a Choice." If you're on the Instagram, go to my YouTube channel, Coach Bronson, and watch the video. It's only 30, 40 seconds, something like that. But it's talking about the idea that And this is something I say. I even have it in my book. Actually, that comes out in 2 days. 2 days. The book
Launch
comes
party.
out. Launch party on YouTube tomorrow, Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Be there or be square.
See you there.
Actually, it's this way. Where the idea is habits are only habits until you're aware that they exist. Once you know that they're there, they become a choice. So when we talk about habit change, the first step, and this is how we work, the first step in habit change is awareness. What is going on? Why am I doing this? What's happening? What is the cycle that I'm in? As soon as you identify that,
as soon as you become aware,
it is no longer a habit. It is no longer unconscious. It is in your conscious mind, and you now have a choice to make a different action, a different choice, right? So that's what this about, and it kind of goes into it. And did I see it first? You saw it.
I saw it on TikTok, and
then you
sent it to me.
And then I copied it and put it out.
And when I saw this thing, I was like, oh my God, nobody has ever broke it down so succinctly and simply in one video, one clip. I was like, oh my God, every human being needs to see this at least once in their lives.
Yeah.
I am going to incorporate it into the onboarding for the Academy because I think it's something everyone needs to see when they come into my programs, because it's very much what we do. As you said, we help people identify the patterns that they are living in, and that identify and recognize that they have a choice in the matter.
Yes.
And stop justifying based on their past.
Yeah. The one thing, this is a kind of a side topic, and because you just said this, they have the power, they have the control, and then justifying and excuses and those types of things. Justification is a path to disempowerment. So when you are making a justification, what you are doing is you're giving the power away. I don't have any control, so it's something else's fault.
You're placing the blame somewhere else. Yeah.
Right. So just remember, guys, you are in control. And the idea, we come back to this almost every talk, the idea of ownership and taking responsibility for your journey starts with control. You are in control. If the minute you recognize that everything about your journey is your responsibility and you have the power to affect change in your life, everything changes. Everything changes.
The next time you say, I'm out of control, I need to get back on track, say to yourself, actually, I'm in control right now. What I'm doing is choosing to be off track.
Yes. Yes. 120%.
And I can get back on track the moment I decide that that's what I want more.
Yes. Yes.
I want to be off track right now. I want to not make progress. I want to go backwards. I want to put the weight back on. I want to lose muscle. I want to start answering it with the things that you think you don't want, and become very clear that your actions are proving to you what you actually want.
I have decided that I would rather sit on the couch and watch Netflix than go to the gym.
And tell yourself what that means.
It's not
what
because...
What does that mean? I am choosing to stay. Ladies, use the terms that you use when you come into the Academy and you tell me what you don't want anymore. I'm choosing to stay flabby. I'm choosing to keep my belly fat. I'm choosing to... When you start to recognize that choosing to veg on the couch and watch Netflix and eat junk, tell yourself what you're choosing when you're choosing that.
I'm choosing my bloat. I'm choosing my back pain. I'm choosing my aches. I'm choosing my hot flashes. I'm choosing my inability to sleep. I'm choosing my anxiety. I'm choosing my neuroses. I'm choosing my stress and bitchiness. I'm choosing all of these things. Because that's what you're choosing.
You got to connect the dots there. The junk food is directly impacting your results.
Yeah.
So start connecting those two things. The problem, this could be a whole separate talk, is that your association with these things is positive, and you need to start making the association negative.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
that could totally be
That's
next
a whole
week's
nother, that's a whole nother. We have a list. I'm honestly, I got a quick segue and then we're going to end. I think we pretty much said everything we need to say. When we first started doing this, I was worried that we'd come into a week and be like, what the hell are we going to talk about? But
That's
I swear,
hilarious.
every week we end up with 2 or 3 things, and our list is actually growing faster than the episodes
than the
are
weeks.
growing than the weeks, right? So this
Yeah.
this has been super
We're
cool,
never going to
guys.
run out of content.
No, the
for
fact that
sure.
honestly, and this is the other thing too, because we've talked about maybe we should make this a podcast again and start doing all that, and I'm not.
He doesn't want to do
I'm
it.
not even
because he was responsible for all the
I was doing all the
podcasting.
production and all of the
Yeah.
uploading and all that other kind of stuff, and that's just not happening. And we did that for what? We did 10 episodes, I think,
Yeah.
the last time, and it just got to be too much. But here we are on episode 32,
We will never. 'Cause
and
this is easy
this
to
is so much
implement.
easier, and it's just
Live.
much more flowing, and it's whatever. It's
Yeah. No production.
we could do this. We could do this forever.
We will.
So that is all.
And for those of you who will be in Louisville with us,
Louisville.
next 2 months.
Did they sell out? I know they were only like
They
12
had like
tickets.
12 tickets last time I saw. So if y'all have not gotten your tickets for Keto Palooza, October 11th through the 13th,
Oh, I have a request.
check it out to see if they still have tickets.
I request for any of you. Autumn's going to hate me for this.
Oh no.
For any of you that are going to Keto Palooza, it would be awesome if Autumn got little birdies in her ear saying how awesome it would be if there was a couch on stage so that we could do our
gonna kill you.
presentation as a coffee talk. That was our idea. We're like,
In our
Autumn,
PJs with
we're gonna
fuzzy socks.
if we can get a couch, then we're gonna come in our regular coffee talk outfits, and we're gonna talk, and we're just gonna do our talk as a coffee talk. If there's a couch that we can get on stage. So if anybody going wants to ping her and say, hey, Autumn, we heard Bronson and Natalie were gonna do a coffee talk. Are you gonna get them a couch? See what happens. She's gonna be so mad at me.
We're gonna have to bring our own couch.
I know, right? Oh my gosh, we probably could. We could do that. I'm sure there's like a rent-a-center. We could rent a couch for a day
We could.
and just have them drop it off. They drop it off and pick it up. Oh, we might have to talk about that. Okay, that might have to work. All right, get a big like sectional up on the stage.
Oh God, no! It would have to be a love seat.
All right, guys,
Love
thanks for
seats
joining.
for the
We will see
lovers.
you next week. Enjoy yourselves and do what you got to do. You know what it is.
Take responsibility.
Did you just kiss everybody?